All right, if you're gearing up for your BCBA exam, you know you have to nail task list item A3, Radical Behaviorism. Now, I know it can sound a little intimidating, but trust me, getting this concept is a total game changer. Not just for the exam, but for how you see the world as a behavior analyst. So let's break it all down.
So let's start with a really simple, but actually very deep question. Do our thoughts and our feelings cause our behavior? You know, when you get really mad, do you yell because you're mad? Seems pretty straightforward, right?
And you know what? Most people would say, of course they do. What a silly question. But as a behavior analyst, and especially for your BCBA exam, we have to have a much more precise, more scientific answer. And getting this right, it's not just about passing a test. It's about building interventions that actually create change.
So to really understand this, we have to go back to the source, right? We have to talk about B.F. Skinner. Back in 1945, he introduced a philosophy that completely changed how we look at behavior, especially the stuff that happens inside our own skin.
Okay, so before Skinner really shook things up, the big idea was something called methodological behaviorism. Now, this was a good first step because it got us focused on what we can actually see and measure, but it had a huge blind spot. It completely ignored private events, thoughts, feelings, urges. They were all considered off-limits for science because no one else could see them. And then Skinner comes along with radical behaviorism. And the word radical here doesn't mean it's wild or extreme. It means getting to the root of the matter. Skinner's radical idea was that our private events, our thoughts, our feelings, they aren't some mysterious cause of what we do. They are behavior themselves. They're just behavior that only one person can observe, you.
This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? A methodological behaviorist would say, hey, I can't see your anxiety, so I can't study it. But a radical behaviorist, we say, that feeling of anxiety is real, it's a behavior, and guess what? It's influenced by the environment in exactly the same way as any other behavior. It makes our science whole.
And this quote from Skinner, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. He's saying that when you feel something, you're not tapping into some mystical mental world. You are literally just observing a physical event happening inside your own body. It's biology. It's part of the natural world, and that means we can study it.
So let's just boil this down to 3 key assumptions you have to remember. Number 1, private events are behavior, period. Number 2, the only real difference between thinking about something and saying it out loud is that only one person can observe the thought. And number 3, and this is crucial, they are shaped by the exact same principles, like reinforcement and punishment, as everything else we do.
Okay, so that's the theory, but let's get practical. How does all this radical behaviorism stuff actually change how we work with our clients in the real world?
Let's take a look at Christian. His mom says he's just so messy and disorganized, and that's why he can't get to school on time. See that? That's a mentalistic trap. It's a label that feels like an explanation, but it doesn't tell us what to do. The behavioral explanation looks at the environment. It says, hey, his morning routine has no history of reinforcement. So we can implement a token system to systematically shape the behavior we want to see. We change the environment, not the label.
And it's not just for kids, right? Let's talk about an adult. We might say, oh, she procrastinates on her work reports because she has anxiety. Again, where does that lead us? The behavioral explanation looks at her learning history. Maybe writing reports has been punished in the past by stress and exhaustion, so procrastinating, doing anything else, lets her escape that feeling. That escape is a powerful negative reinforcer that keeps the procrastination going. Now we actually have something we can work with.
Okay, so this brings us right to the BCBA exam. The entire test is designed to see if you can spot these mentalistic traps and think like a true behavior analyst.
And here it is, the number 1 mistake I see students make. They choose the answer that uses an internal feeling or a thought or even a diagnosis as the cause of the behavior. The exam will absolutely give you these options as distractors, but remember, for us, the cause is found in the environment and the learning history.
Let's walk through a classic example. You get a question like this. Ray shouts, Mom yells back. We've done an FA and we know for a fact that the attention is the reinforcer. The question asks for the best explanation from a radical behavioral perspective. So how do we tackle this? It's simple. First, what's the behavior? Shouting. What's the consequence? Attention. Now, you need to find the answer choice that connects that behavior to its history of getting that consequence. And here's the key. You immediately eliminate any answer that says he does it to get attention or because he wants attention. Those are mentalistic traps.
The correct answer will always point to the past. It will look something like this. Ray shouts because that behavior has resulted in attention in the past. See the difference? It's subtle, but it's everything. We're explaining today's behavior by looking at yesterday's consequences, not some hypothetical desire for tomorrow.
And look, this isn't just some academic hoop you have to jump through for the test. This way of thinking is what makes us effective in the clinic. It's what makes our science work.
Here's the bottom line. Mentalistic explanations are dead ends. If we say a child is headbanging because he's angry, what's our treatment plan? Try to make him less angry? How? But a behavioral explanation gives us a clear roadmap to an effective treatment.
I mean, just look at this functional analysis graph. This is the perfect picture of our science in action. We are not guessing what a child is feeling, we are systematically testing the environment to see what variables control the behavior.
Look at that data. The story is crystal clear. Headbanging shoots up in the attention condition. We don't have to wonder if he's sad or angry. The data tells us the behavior is a function of attention. And just like that, our treatment plan becomes clear, precise, and data-driven. Honestly, getting this right isn't just a requirement for the test. It's your edge. It's what separates a professional behavior analyst from everyone else trying to understand why people do what they do. Our approach is so beautifully simple and so powerful. We observe what people do. We analyze how their environment and their past experiences have shaped that behavior. And then we modify that environment to create real, meaningful change. That's it. That's our science.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you find yourself trying to explain why someone, a client, a family member, even yourself, is doing something, where are you going to look for the cause? Are you going to look for it inside their mind? Or are you going to look at their world?
You master this one shift in perspective, and I promise you, you are so much closer to thinking like a behavior analyst and passing that exam. I really hope this helped. If it did, please hit that subscribe button for more deep dives. This series is brought to you by Amethyst Therapy Services. Thanks for watching, and keep up the amazing work.